Hello and welcome to Wildlifebuzz podcast. I'm Ravi, founder CEO of Wildlifebuzz, and today I'm thrilled to welcome a very exciting guest today, Mr. Jailabdeen, who is a conservation biologist and project director of the Gharial Ecology Project at the Madras Crocodile Bank Trust, dedicated to the recovery of the critically endangered Gharial. Over the past 10 years, he has led research and conservation initiatives across the National Chambal Sanctuary, combining field ecology with applied conservation to protect one of world's most threatened crocodile species. His work spans radio telemetry, movement ecology, nesting ecology, habitat conservation, bioacoustics, chemical communication, and conservation genetics. He is passionate about translating rigorous scientific research into practical conservation outcomes through collaboration with government agencies, research institutions, zoos, and local communities. He is also a National Geographic Photo Arc Edge Fellow and a recipient of the Berlin World Wild Conservation Scholarship. He has committed to advancing evidence-based conservation, mentoring future conservationists, and building partnerships that create lasting impact for freshwater ecosystems and biodiversity. So, as you just heard, he is no ordinary guest. He has accomplished a lot. So, again, welcome, Mr. Jailabdeen, to the podcast today. How are you doing today?
Thank you, Ravi. Thank you for a great introduction. So I'm just trying to do my bit in the conservation field, like specifically for gharials in National Chambal Sanctuary. I'm doing great today, and we are just planned it like so fast, but I think we can make it more interesting in
Yes,
our conversation.
definitely. You have such a rich body of work. There is so much to learn from your experience. But as with every story, I want to understand how did it all start? When you, how did you get into this field where you always interested in conservation, where you always interested in wildlife? Could you let us know how was your initiation into this field?
Yeah, so if I have to go back to my childhood, like where I was going along with my grandfather to a farm field and birds over there. So that's where it all started. Like I want to be live near to the nature, as in the farm field first. Then eventually, when I
Where,
was
where, where exactly? Which part
uh,
of?
this is basically my grandfather. My mom's dad is from Kalahastri near Andhra Pradesh. So I'm actually originally from Tamil Nadu,
Okay.
and I'm working in North India right now. But it's all started over there, like getting inspiration from my grandfather. And basically, what he kind of taught me is living close to nature. Like even if you're a farmer, you have to like kind of live close to the nature, right?
Hmm.
Uh, so that's what he kind of thought. Like you have to live close to the nature, so I chose wildlife conservation as my part to kind of live close with nature.
Got it.
So then eventually I kind of ended up being doing my passion as my profession.
Got it. Got it. And how did so from wildlife to specifically on Ghadial conservation, how did that happen?
Yeah, so actually, I'm not even a wildlife student, like by education. So I was a computer science student in my school,
Seriously?
and yeah, I was a computer science student, and I did my visual communication in my UG.
Oh,
Then I like to do like wildlife photography was my kind of aim. But when I started to do the wildlife photography into like my full-time profession and all, I kind of forgot to click the picture. Instead of clicking the behaviors, I kind of started to observing the behaviors, where I kind of learned myself that like, okay, I'm not an photographer like wildlife photographer, but I'm kind of a wildlife researcher, because I'm so curious about like why the animals are doing it and how they are doing it and all those stuff. So that's when I kind of moved from an totally different stream to wildlife, and eventually like to gharials. It's all started from Madras Crocodile Bank Trust, because before this job I was an business presentation specialist with McKinsey and Company.
oh,
uh,
you.
yeah, so I
Oh,
I did like 3+ years I was in business presentation specialist in McKinsey.
Wow.
But when I was doing that job, I was doing an volunteership with Croc Bank, where I got exposed to a lot of reptilian behaviors,
Oh,
and that's where I kind of fell in love with reptiles. Uh,
awesome.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah. Then I took my first job as an project coordinator with Gharial Ecology Project, like 10 years before.
Mhm.
Exactly. Yeah, in 2016, I started with Gharial Ecology Project, and
Mhm.
that's where the whole Gharial chapter started for me, because the project has been initiated. The Gharial Ecology Project has been initiated in 2007 and 8, when there was a mass die-off of gharials what happened in Chambal. So that time people came up and then say like, okay, we have to learn these animals behavior so that like we can predict something on their future of conservations and all. So Professor Jeff Lang, Padma Shri Romulus Whittaker, who is founder of Croc Bank, and Dev Jyoti Basu. So they are the main persons who initiated this project in 2007-8, along with few other people. So I kind of saw this as a really big opportunity, because I can learn with Rom and Jeff, who are all kind of an really big gurus of reptile world, and it has been like a fantastic journey from that time onwards.
Excellent. And so today, it is the project is ongoing, right? So you said 2007. So Gharial Ecology Project is ongoing, and what is the mission today? Like, has it
Yeah,
achieved?
so we started as a telemetry project,
Hmm.
like we started as a radio telemetry project, and
Hmm.
then slowly we kind of built it up, like what are the behavioral ecology of subadult. So basically, when the die-off happened, there are like 110 mainly subadult animals died, like not the adults, not the smaller ones, mainly
Hmm.
subadult animals died. So
Hmm.
for finding the reason why the subadult animals are died, so then the question is moved towards like telemetry of subadult animals.
Hmm.
But eventually, when we did adult telemetry, we did subadult telemetry, we did juveniles, we did telemetry on hatchlings also, where
Hmm.
we kind of tend to know that each life stage of gharials are
Hmm.
actually having lot of complexity. So this is the only crocodilian which is a social animals.
Hmm.
If I say they kind of live in groups, certain time of the year they are like you can see them. There's a breeding group forms, and there is a
Hmm.
smaller animals are hanging around near the place, but not in the
Hmm.
breeding group. So it's kind of a very tight group with males and females that are doing
Hmm.
the breeding. So the project is started in 2007 with an aim of studying for a couple of years about the subadults behavior. But
Hmm.
eventually, what Gharials actually thrown at us, like with an
Hmm.
interesting fact, like, hey, we do this also kind of stuff, right? So we kind of extended ourselves into like kind of an ecology project, which has been having this 2 decade of ecological knowledge about
Hmm.
gharials. And
Nice.
mainly now we are in the transition of how we can use those ecological knowledge in transforming them into a conservation impact measures,
Got it.
which I
Got it.
will be telling in rest of the talks, I think.
Got it. So usually such initiatives will need funding, right? So this project got any funding?
So initially, Croc Bank raised in tremendous amount of fundraising through international zoo community. So like Prague Zoo, Berlin Zoo, and Los Angeles Zoo. There are like many other zoos
Got it.
who are come forward and then like, hey, we like to do something for these crocodilian species. So initially, it was being started mainly with the foreign funding, and now currently like we have some of CSR like Astral Foundation, who is supporting our project for the past 5 years, and they are even committed to support for next 10 years, because Astral pipes preserving freshwater bodies is one of their main motto through their CSR funding.
Got it.
So they are committed for the project now.
Got it. Got it. Got it. So this is not nothing to do with the government. Government is
So what we do is the government funding is there, government's projects are there. So we will be going as an advisor for the government projects, and then tell them like how efficiently we can spend the funding. But we don't get the funding directly from the government
got it.
fund.
Got it. Got it. So let's talk about Ghadial, because till now we have done a lot of podcasts with a lot of experts. Ghadial we have never covered. Okay. So first of all, what is so special about Ghadial? Are they how different are they from other crocodiles? Okay. And
Okay,
why
so
Ghadials are so critical species in freshwater ecosystems?
So first of all, like what are gharials, right? Like that's the main question because many of them might not even seen a gharial. So
Oh,
I'm just going to bring this small idol that I have here.
yes.
So this
Oh,
is gharial actually. They are like thin, slender-snouted crocodilian species. Like usually crocs will be having like a wider mouth, but gharials is the unique species which is having a slender snout. So that's the main difference between a crocodile, alligators, and gharials. And apart from this, there are like couple of other families. Like gharial belongs to its own family, Gharialis family, right? So gharials are very unique and they are mainly live in freshwater ecosystem and they are endemic for the Indian subcontinent. So historically, gharials were in Indus
mm,
and also in Ganges and also in Brahmaputra. But
mm,
recent years, because of the damming and all the stuff, like in the past century, the gharials are extinct in Indus. And
mm,
in Brahmaputra, we are seeing like one or two sightings per year or something. So we don't really have a breeding population so called in Brahmaputra.
mm,
And throughout Ganges we have some breeding populations, in which Chambal is being the main most important population where we are working. And
mm,
apart from there are Katniagar, there are Corbett, and then Gandak, and then comes Mahanadi. So there are like other breeding population. Then Son Gharial Sanctuary is another population also. So
mm.
they are in this small scattered place, but 80% of the global gharial population is living in Chambal. So you can see that like how Chambal is like
80%.
80% of the global population. So I'm not saying like just the Indian population. I'm saying about the
Oh,
global
okay. 80%
because
of the okay, global
yes.
population.
So like India and Nepal are the two countries which are having gharials today, and in which Nepal having like two populations, which is one is in Chitwan and one is in Bardia National Park.
Mm,
So Chitwan is like right opposite to Gandak River.
mm,
So when the river comes into India, it becomes Gandak, and when it
mm,
goes to Chitwan,
mm,
that is I think Rapti and Narayani River stream.
mm, mm,
And then Katania Ghat is right in India, but opposite to Katania Ghat is Karnali River, which is in Bardia National Park in Nepal.
mm,
So basically, like these are like river are like kind of one unit. Like we have boundaries, but the animals doesn't know the boundaries, so they
mm,
kind of use that as in one unit.
mm,
So anything that Nepal, like for example, like if anything that Nepal changes in the river stream or the river flow, was going to affect like the downstream population that what we are
mm.
having. So that's how fragile is the river systems are. So we have to understand that it's kind of an one living unit.
Got it. Got it. Nice. Excellent. And so today, are they safe or are they still having any threats of survival?
Yeah, like so there are like locations. So I told like several locations that gharials are exist in
Mm,
India and Nepal. But if we say like primarily in Chambal,
mm,
the main problem that what we are facing in Chambal is habitat loss because of
mm.
anthropogenic effect like sand mining or
Okay.
interlinking project is another problem that we may face.
Mm,
Because like when we are thinking that the monsoon river, the monsoon flood is an excess water.
mm,
Always we have that perception, right? Like, okay, so there's like an ample amount of monsoon is coming, and then all the water is going waste to the sea. But
mm,
it's not. It's kind of basically there is an pulsative thing. So there is an river pulse, we call it
mm,
as like
mm,
monsoon river pulse. So
mm,
that is very necessary for river regeneration. Like the resources
mm,
of the river will regenerate, like the
mm,
sand, the fishes, the
mm,
ecosystem will regenerate. So
mm,
so that pulse is very very necessary. So that's why we call like sand mining, anything that is deals with sand mining or fishing, illegal fishing, or river interlinking projects or any dam projects will be like very devastating for gharials.
mm. Got it. So, sir, you have worked with the Gharial Ecology Project since so long. So, what has been your typical work? Like on a typical field day, how does your conservation work look like?
So it depends upon like various seasons. So we call like okay, so there is a breeding season which is basically in January and February where we go every day and see the animals in the afternoon. So in the mostly in the afternoon time of the day, the animals
Mm,
become very active. The adults
mm,
and females and all will become very active. So there we kind of sit and observe the animals because we have tagged individuals, so we can see that like, okay, which females are breeding with which male, and which challenger is coming and challenging the dominant. So those kind of dynamic breeding situations we observe. And for example, in the hatching time, we just finished, so we just finished our hatching season, where so the nest will be laid, and then on an hatching day we will be go very early in the morning, like 3 o'clock early in the morning we have to go there, because we want to collect the eggshell membranes.
Mhm.
After the hatchlings comes out, we have to collect the eggshell membrane to do the DNA pedigree of these animals.
Okay.
So for that we have to kind of compete with the crows, because once it has been dawn and once it is the sun is raised, and then the crows will come and scavenge on all the eggshells, and jackals will come and scavenge on the eggshells. So we have
Oh.
to compete with the crows and jackals to kind of go and scavenge for it. And in winters we do tagging the animals. So that's kind of like late morning, but the animals will come out for basking. So we have like fishermen who we are working for past 20 years, who knows how to catch the gharials using a fishing net, because you cannot be baited. They cannot be baited like muggers, and also you have to use a fishing net to kind of catch them like actually like a fish. So when they
Mhm.
kind of come out for basking, then we have to wait until we have to scare them away into the net, then you can go and catch them. So that's, so depends upon like the season, so our conservation work. But typically like a field day, I always say that like observing animals is kind of a very special thing for me.
Nice. Sir, how many Gharials must be there in that region?
So Chambal hosts around 2000 plus or minus 100 gharials
Okay.
in overall like different size classes.
Okay.
But if we say like usually when in population, if we say there is an IUCN norms, right?
Mhm.
You call a population as a population only with the adult size. So how many adult animals you are having?
Adult would be how many years, sir?
So adults, so usually like the males will get matured by 20 years plus,
Okay.
15 to 20 years plus, and the females will get matured between 12 to 13, 15 years.
Oh,
And
so a crocodile has to survive to 12, 15 years before it can be considered the
yes,
population.
yes.
Oh.
That's why the population surveys and the hatching surveys are very, very important. Like monitoring the population is very, very important. Like it's not that what you have to do for the population or you want to intervene in the population. First, you have to monitor how the population is doing.
Mm. Nice.
Yes,
So I'm not from this field. That's why it's very, very fascinating that
yes,
human beings have been able to do so much for such species, because it needs hard work, it needs research, it needs investment, it needs funding, isn't it? uh,
yes.
Otherwise you will not be able to bring impact. So can you explain if your work has brought any impact which you actually saw that because of my hard work for so many years,
Yeah.
this happened, from this to this, any transformation happened?
Yes. So as gharials are also mature slow, our transformation in the conservation is also like slow.
Very slow,
I
yeah.
can compare to the gharials growth and all. But the main thing that what we kind of see the perception change or from the local people, like our presence in the local community, only like we have out of 20 people in the project, like only 3 people are from outsiders. So we are actually hiring the local community people.
Okay.
Specifically want to say Pankaj, who's been with the project even before I was been with the project. So they are from the very local village where they are living with gharials for their whole life. So
Mm,
they know more about gharials than us. But
mm,
it's not in a pro forma format or anything. It's not like an MSc thesis or something where you can go and study these things with them.
mm,
So when
mm,
you go along with the local community, you have to like have dialogues in their local language,
mm,
like okay, so how you observe what you saw the animal was doing. So then they will say like, oh, the animal was doing this, we saw that animal like kind of going like crisscross sword fight. So then okay,
mm,
so then it means that they actually evidenced a male combat.
mm,
Then we have to ask like, okay, what then animal did it? So then they say like, okay, the one animal is trying to kind of climb on the other one, and then the one which gone down is kind of run away. So
mm,
that's how the mating combat usually goes for
mm,
gharial. So the males
mm,
will kind of do like a sword fight, but it looks like really, really brutal, and kind of they are going to hit each other.
mm,
But what actually they are trying to do is trying to climb on top of each other, so that
Oh,
like the guy who is on the bottom is the one who lost, and the one who is on the top is the one who's the winner.
oh.
So these are like very very minute observations which the local community must have been seeing. So they must been grazing their field with the goats and cows have been grazing. They're just watching it, but they must have been observed. But there is not any perform of format that they want they have. So we have to kind of harvest those knowledge. We have to
Got
tell them like, okay, these are the ecological knowledge. So we have seen that kind of local transformation. And the second thing that what we seen is with the management. So forest department, so we are working closely with Madhya Pradesh Forest Department, Rajasthan Forest Department, and Uttar Pradesh Forest Department, because it's a
it.
tri-state river sanctuary,
Right.
in which when we tell like, okay, so we found something scientifically like kind of a different. So for example, surveying of the head start animal. So head start is a method when people harvest the take the eggs from the wild and then hatch them in the captivity and then keep them for longer period of time, then
Mm,
release them back. So this is kind of called head start for gharials.
mm, mm,
This actually happened in many other species like turtles also.
mm,
But we had a question within our project that like, okay, how good is the head start is actually working.
mm,
So we tagged with some of the head start and we found that like many of them are actually not contributing to the population.
mm,
So when we went back to the management, like basically forest department, and said like, hey, can we kind of rethink it? And like all of a sudden, like we have seen that like Rajasthan department said like, yeah, let's do something different. So they kind of
mm,
came on board. So now we are doing something called fast track head starting, which actually
mm.
involves rather than taking the eggs, we are taking the hatchlings which are already hatched in the wild, so they are wild ready, and keeping them without any human exposures and also. So these kind of new innovative things are there, but
Mm.
it takes like a big leap from even from the department standpoint also to kind of adapt to these things.
Got it.
So I feel like these are the main changes that what we as a long term project that what we can show.
Nice. And do you also get visitors, international visitors who come to just to see the project?
So actually, Ranthambore is in really the place where we are right now in Savai Madhopur.
Got it.
We have Ranthambore Tiger Reserve, which is having a lot of international tourist
Mm,
focus.
got it.
So when people come over here, they do come for a safari. So there is a Chambal safari
Mm,
component within the Ranthambore Tiger Reserve protected area. So where
mm,
people can come and watch the animals. So now we are actually, along with the forest department, is developing an interpretation center. So we are want to develop it as an as interactive as it possible. So
mhm.
can tell about the river ecology rather than just a standing boats.
Got it. No, I meant not tourists. I meant conservationists who are interested to learn about Gharial. Are there conservationists who are in touch with you who come there to see how you have built these projects?
Not really, because it takes like a lot of effort. Like, so
Got
for somebody from outside to kind of come over here to kind of develop an whole project or study the animals and all.
got got
We do have like couple of collaborators who are from outside,
Mm.
but who are not coming and visiting, but on like data collaboration. So
Okay.
I'm kind of collaborating with Singapore Zoo, where they
Mhm.
have captive gharials over there,
Got it.
and they had there for around 30 years, and
Mhm.
we are helping them to kind of see whether how we can breed these animals
Got it.
in the zoo itself. So those kind of collaborations are still there.
Got it. But if somebody wants to know more about the Ghadial project, okay, that is happening with you, the
Yeah.
entire ecology project, what is the best way for them to reach out?
Yeah, so they can reach out with my email ID is there, so I can happy to give it to you. You can just put it into prompt over there, so they
Sure.
can write it to me, and
We'll do.
we can see what is the requirement and what they are interested in. Then accordingly, we can accommodate.
Excellent. Because you this morning you created the community
Yeah,
for Chambal river research. So
yeah.
I was wondering why also not create for Ghadial, because there are so many people who would be interested to know. So all the existing researchers who are already working on the Ghadial project, I mean, they all could collaborate and create this community. So that will also be
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. That's an interesting thing. So we can
But
develop.
so Chambal River research, is it different from Ghadial? So, or maybe Chambal River research will include more species than just Ghadial. Is that how it is?
Yeah, no, so that's what my idea was, like with the Chambal River research thing. Why I asked you to create that community is actually it has like a lot of different channels like Gharials, muggers, and
Got it.
skimmers also. So people who are, because Chambal is like an if you go into the history of Chambal,
Hmm.
actually in Mahabharat there is an saying is king, like Chambal is called a cursed river because
Oh,
yeah, so there is an curse on Chambal saying that like anybody who drinks the Chambal's water will be having the curse too. So
hmm.
that's the reason, if you see in the whole Gangetic tributaries, Chambal is the one which doesn't have many cities until Kota actually developed in Rajasthan.
Okay. Hmm. Got it.
Because that's the reason, because we are some from the Indus Valley civilization, and also so wherever the river is, that's where the civilization thrives.
Civilization is. Oh, so in spite of Chambal River, the civilization did not exist for long.
If you see in along Chambal, you can see Gwalior is little bit far away from Chambal. Delhi is far away from Chambal. Agra is
Oh,
also far away from Chambal. So everything. So Delhi, Agra, everything will be in Yamuna.
yeah.
Kanpur
Oh,
is in Kanpur is in Ganges.
yes, yes,
Allahabad
yes.
is in Ganga. So actually, Chambal
But
is
it
the
is
only place where it is kind of left out of
okay.
civilization.
Mm.
And it is a very tough terrain also, like Chambal ravines are like really, like it looks like an lungs system, so you have all these small nalas. And that's when, like in after independence thing about the dacoits of Chambal.
Dacoits. Chambal
Yeah,
dacoits.
so it's very easy for them to evade within the whole Chambal ravines. And
Got it.
also you can cross the river, so then you are in a totally different state, and you
Mm.
have
Oh,
totally different rules.
got it.
So
But it
because
must
the
be
river is the boundary for the states.
got it. But it must be beautiful, no? I mean that ecology and the
Yeah,
river.
and I think like that is the reason why Chambal is still staying as it is and gem of the river, because till today also, like there are so many villages which are who are villagers who are drinking the Chambal water directly. Like you don't need to
Mm.
do any filter or anything. You don't get like
Mm.
sick or anything if you
Mm.
drink Chambal water, and
So,
that's like the other
so if
rivers.
somebody is fascinated by Chambal and the ecology project, if they want to go there, is it easy to access or is it hard?
Yeah, it is easy to access. Like, see, if somebody is really fascinated as a tourist, they want to come.
Mm.
There is a lot of points. Like in UP, there is a place called Jarar where you can come and do like Nadgawa.
Mm.
That's the name. So where there is a safari in UP
Mm.
side,
Mm.
and in MP there is near Morena. There is a place, and in Dolpur also you have like boating and all. You can do
Mm.
go on areas by yourself. And
Got
in
it.
whole upstream where we are right now is in Palighat, where you have like tourism.
Got it. Because lots of students are also watching this.
Yeah.
So, so first of all, is your team full, or you are always looking for some volunteers, a student researcher, young researchers to play in this field? Is this Are there any opportunities?
So basically, what we are doing, so it's a kind of a very small group that what we are working. So we have like only 20 people, in which like five of them are like temporary coming and going, but
Got it.
15 of them are kind of there.
Got it.
But for the volunteer and all, like we have to see what is the main topic that they want to volunteer. So what is their interest, what is the research interest and all,
Got
and
it.
if that is kind of inner line, there is no problem of taking a volunteer.
Got it.
But being in this terrain for the past 10 years, and I was being grown up from childhood in a very different terrain, this is a very tough terrain to kind of even work. That's kind of, I can put it out there, because it's all like, even with the climatic condition, it's all like kind of an extreme. So in monsoon
Mm.
you get like an extreme monsoon.
Oh,
Sometimes it will be downpour for like couple of days continuously.
got it.
Sometimes it will be like flooded, like
Hmm.
during monsoon it will be so flooded. And in
Hmm.
winters it will be like -2 degree in the night, and also if
Oh,
and in summers it will be 45, 48 degrees.
so how did so what fascinated you about the entire region? Was it the Gharials and the ecology, or what was it?
I think it's all played their part actually, because you cannot see such an pristine habitat which is untouched, and these animals are used to live near the village. There are some villages near the Chambal ravines and all, right? So they are used for people. So if you can just go and sit and observe the animals' natural behaviors, like rather
Mm.
than like it's like kind of a big sanctuary where you can sit, and like it's kind of a safari, like tiger safari, where you can
Mm.
go and sit inside a gypsy. But here you
Mm.
can just go and sit in the river bank, and on the opposite side there will be like gharials, which they just do their job and you just do your job. So this is
Got
like kind of a very pristine setup where you can really learn about the animal behavior a lot.
got it. Are there any still challenges in the conservation work on the ground, or you have enough support and um,
See, we have like challenges. So one is like we want to change the perspective of what a meaningful conservation is, right? So it's not just doing research, or it's not just doing awareness. You have to kind of keep it like in balance between it. So that's kind of in itself like kind of one of the big challenge. And
Mhm.
apart from that, like the second challenge will be like raising funds for
Mhm.
Gharial. Actually, uh, because people always ask me like, oh, okay, it's not a tiger. I said like, okay, they are the river tigers. we have we have this thing called river tigers.
Mm.
Gharials are the river tigers.
Mm.
Why is there is an actually ecological reason for that also, why they are
Mm.
called the river tigers.
Mm.
So in a landscape, in a forest, tigers are the top predators, and then comes the leopards and all the other
Mhm.
ones, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So what happens between tiger and leopard is like totally different, unique, because
Mm.
uh, tiger cubs can be hunted by leopards, but
Oh.
a bigger tiger can easily hunt an leopard.
Mhm.
So that's where the ecological balance. So basically, both of them are control on each other into keeping the ecological balance in a
Mm.
forest.
Mm.
So
Mm.
similarly, in the river ecosystem, gharials are the tigers and muggers are the leopards.
Mm.
So gharials need so the smaller gharials will be eaten by muggers to kind of keep the population in control,
Mm.
and but the bigger gharials maintain a territory where the muggers cannot interfere and all. So
Mm.
that's how they kind of balance between them. So they are like kind of the river, and also like there's another interesting thing about gharial and mugger also, uh, like um, uh, like what we call the tigers are basically need a specific habitat, like they cannot live everywhere.
Mhm.
And muggers sorry leopards can live everywhere, like leopards being like you can see leopards in Mumbai, you can see leopards in even Chambal also having like a good leopard population, so they can live in an urban space also, so they
Okay.
can be adjustable everywhere. So
Mhm.
similarly, gharials need a specific habitat, like they need a
Mm.
long sandy beaches, they need
Mm.
like a inclined sand for doing nesting and all. But
Mm.
muggers, being like a versatile animal, they can live even in lakes, ponds, and everywhere.
Oh.
So you see like how ecologically also they are like kind of fit into the name river tigers.
Mm.
So raising funds is one of the thing like where we kind of trying to keep people sensitized about like, hey, they are also important. They are not one of the megafauna, but they are kind of a key species for an fragile ecosystem like rivers.
Got it. And the long stout that Ghadial has, what could have been the evolutionary purpose of that long stout? I
See,
mean,
actually, like they have like specific diet to kind of rely on like fishes,
mhm.
and the teats are kind of helping it for it. And gharial, why they call gharial is they have like a big pot. So males have like a big pot called gara in tip of the snout.
Oh,
So that's why they call gharial. So in
okay.
Hindi, gada means pot, right?
Pot,
So
pot. Yes, yes, yes.
yeah, so it's like an inverted pot on top of each male,
Got
and
it.
that gara actually develops when they become sexually mature.
Oh,
So they
nice.
don't develop very beforehand.
Got
So
it. And the villages around it, they are all in harmony. Like they respect these species
yeah,
very.
yeah, 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 yeah. Most of the villages, like around like 80-90%. So some very few villages you see them kind of getting contradictory with gharials because they don't attack like muggers.
Okay.
You
Mm.
might hear about like crocodilian attack in Chambal and all. Most of them are by like not most of them, all of them are by muggers.
Mhm.
You never see Gharial attacking any human.
Got it.
because they're very shy animals. Like even muggers also very shy. But the thing is, people doesn't understand the ecology between the mugger and like they're
Mm.
living along with the mugger. So there
Got
are
it.
like places where you get into conflicts.
Got it. So, where does the future lie here for future of gharials and the river ecosystems? Like what happens in the future? Like, are there going to be more gharials? Are there going to be more conservation work happening? Maybe give us a sense of what the next 10, 15 years would look like.
See, given the fact that like what there are two ways to go, right? Like, so if we protect these habitats and all, then definitely there is going to be like more gharials and people live in harmony and all the stuff. But
Mm,
if we are not going to like kind of really respect the nature resources that what we have and keep
mm,
extracting the resources, then we are going to get losing these animals, because these animals needs a specific kind of habitat, which are rivers,
mm,
having like free flow rivers.
mm,
Chambal is having so many gharials because 80% of the global population, as I said before, because it is free flow for 425 kilometers without
mm,
any dam or anything constructed. So if
mm,
that integrity is getting problem, or if the flow of water is going to get problem, people are constructing more dams even outside the sanctuary, like even more upstream the sanctuary also. That's going to be critical for the sanctuary,
got it.
because already we are facing like a lot of fluctuated monsoons. Like right now,
Mm,
Mumbai is getting flooded, Kerala is getting flooded.
mm,
So like, and the prediction for this year is like 40% less monsoon for India, throughout India.
okay.
So given those facts, I think it's very crucial for us to kind of preserve this river and ecosystem.
Got it. So, sir, I think since you also launched the Chambal River research, I feel that we should also create something for the Ghadial Ecology Project, so that more and more people are aware of it. Okay, and they can join, and
Sure.
everybody who is on the part of the project, they can be part of the community and discuss and share. We will
Definitely.
anyways do a separate launch event for the Chambal River research. So that will be a separate conversation we will have. But
Sure.
thank you again, Mr. Jailabdeen, for sharing your experience and your insights. I think you're doing a fantastic work, and
Thank you.
we will want more and more exposure and awareness to come to what you are doing. All right.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, and I hope it has been interesting for everybody.
Yes.
And the main thing that, as I told, always like, so species conservation comes from habitat conservation. So habitat conservation is going to be the focus of the day. So we have to conserve more habitat. Like, given the fact it can be gharials or it can be tigers or anything. So for all the species, we need habitat for them to live. We don't have to kind of introduce gharials or introduce muggers or introduce tigers or leopards. We just need to protect the habitat. They know the way to come in
Mm,
and occupy the space in the ecosystem.
got it.
So, yeah, so with that note, thank you so much
Thank
for
you so
having me.
much.